are now listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station. You are now listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the realest entertainment information, music, lifestyle, and truth and comedy shows around. This is Let's Talk. I don't count likes, calories, or blessings. I don't dine with snakes or bite my tongue. It is what it is. I am what I am. I am your host, Tony Williams. And welcome. I'm your host, Tony Williams. You are listening to Let's Talk. All right, now, amidst the pretty much quarantine, because you might as well say damn near quarantined, whether you're doing it yourself or wherever you live, they are advising you to. Now, by now, a lot of people pretty much know what the coronavirus is. What's going on as far as jobs, financially, housing, money, because that's a big one for a lot of people. Health, how does it affect your health? What's going on? So, okay, in the midst of all of that, everybody's talking about that in particular, but what about the other things that was already pre-existing issues, basically? Whether it was relationship issues, job security, mental health and stability, just all the things in general that you end up having to deal with in life, with or without some sort of national health epidemic or disaster. See, all of those things are still going on, just topped by this virus. Now, and let's just get real about the shit here. Okay, you're isolated and or quarantined, depending on each individual situation, and you're quarantined or isolated with, that's the question mark. Is it a relationship that's unstable? Was already unstable and this impacted it? Was there infidelities going on that now changes the scenario of what's going on? Bottom line is, now the shit pretty much hits the fan with everything. Now you have to be in the same house with the person that you may have been cheating on, or you're the one who's getting cheated on. But now that other person cannot really be in any physical or face-to-face contact with whom they were first cheating to begin with. See, it's those type of issues that people are really dealing with. Having to be in a marriage with somebody that you don't like. There may not be infidelities going on, but you're pretty much stuck with this person right now. How are you handling it? How is it being coped with? Or if your situation is totally different and you're a loner. You're sitting back, like, okay, well, I'm not stuck in the house with somebody I don't want to be stuck in the house with, but I am still stuck in the house. How do you cope with that? See, this one pretty much is going to touch bases on what everyone is basically going through as a collective. Now, your situation might not be as bad or whatever the case may be, but still, you still have to cope with being isolated and things like that. Now, we're supposed to be prepared for any type of emergency that should hit. So, for those who were prepared, kudos to you. For those who were not prepared and didn't have emergency kits, first aid kits, stocked up on your medications, all that, you know, pantry full of food, this, that, and the other. This is a learning experience and curve for you. So the next thing that hits, you'll be more prepared. It's life lesson. Every day we learn. No one stops learning until, hell, I don't even think it's the moment we die. We're still going to learn, because we're gonna learn what actually is going to happen after death. So, I mean, either way it goes, it's forever learning. So this is to encourage and inspire positive changes. This is what this is for. This is why it is raw, uncut truth. Because we're going to talk about the bullshit that is going on. Shit that we really deal with. That everyone really deals with. So, okay, if you're not prepared, we're going to get prepared. What to have, what to know, to have. Band-Aids, alcohol, everything first aid. Anything that you may need. So it takes a little thought. It's individual specific to a certain point, but there are always basics. So always keep on hand the basics. No matter if everything is hunky-dory fine and shit is going great, still have these things put up. Stock your cabinets. All times. Because you never know what is going to happen. Emergencies are not going to alert you before they happen. They just fucking happen. And it shows you as an individual, each and every one of us, whether we're prepared or not, properly. So we got to take that and own that and be prepared. Now, so we pretty much covered disaster preparedness. Because it's all the basics. It's all the basics. If you need more basics, you can definitely Google it. And, you know, Red Cross, Blue Shield. There's always plenty of helpful information out there on that. Now, the thing with all of this going on is still being able to be mentally and emotionally stable and coherent and just balanced. Because everything is an uncertainty, which causes us to, with our thought patterns, with the way that we act, our moods, our emotions, everything, even our health. Because fear invokes different responses from the body. And that's just what's going to happen. So, to help yourself out, to help each other out, we have to find the silver lining. What is the silver lining? How do you find it? Okay, silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. In every bad situation, there is an element of good. We cannot have everything perfect. Just, it's not meant to be that way. Nothing is perfect from head to toe, inside and out. So, every day is not going to be perfect, but that silver lining is a comforting or hopeful aspect of an otherwise desperate or unhappy situation. And with everyone being on lockdown, it just seems like it's an unhappy and desperate situation. So, we have to stay level-headed. So, in finding that silver lining, it's owning up to what is and what has been happening before this and what you are currently dealing with at home right now, whether it's bad kids, bad relationship, or whatever. It's all maintenance. It's all maintenance. And as far as the relationship goes in it, because y'all might not have been getting along, or you might be in a relationship where you have been. If you have been getting along, kudos to you guys. But if you haven't, and for the ones who have had it pretty decent, make sure to encourage and inspire other couples that you know. Because everybody needs that encouragement and that comforting word. It just does something to the heart. It just gives you a great feeling inside. But for the ones who are having it pretty rough, y'all ain't getting along, y'all damn near at the point to where you was about to move out and all that good old shit. Because you can't stand his ass or you can't stand her ass. That's why you've been fucking somebody else type shit. Because you're just so done with the shit. But you just hadn't left yet. Well, this is an unexpected stop and break in reality for you. You were with that person for a reason. You have to rediscover what that reason was. If it's something they did, now is the time to sit there and talk about the shit. Put all your damn cards on the table. Where the hell else can you go right now? Nowhere. So, chicks, ain't no monkey branching, ain't no doing a whole bunch of fucking and going on with random motherfuckers to ease the pain of what you're going through mentally and emotionally. Now's the time where you have to sit here and deal with whatever it is going on within yourself and your relationships. Now's the time to face it and deal with it. You don't have many other choices right now. You're on lockdown. And you're going to have to make this shit somewhat cordial. So when everybody come off lockdown, your household's still in order. They ain't finna go up in there and find no dead bodies. You got to get along. Find some common ground. Talk. It's basically getting in touch with and understanding the needs which affect your reactions and behaviors in that relationship. You have to understand the fears that drive your reactions and behaviors. Make sure your expectations are realistic. Don't expect something from someone that you're not willing to give. You can't expect them to not go fuck everybody but you gonna go do it. No. And that's him or her and her, or him and him. All that. This is everybody. You gotta make sure that your fantasies are realistic. It's okay to have fantasies. Play them out with that motherfucker you with. Because just imagine, how many times did you go fuck that person and you don't know who that person's really fucking? That helps shit like this coronavirus spread, amongst other shit spreading. So, I mean, get back to that which had you gone enough to want to move in with this person, or get married to this person, or even have kids with this person. Married or not. If you've been living with the same motherfucker for 16 years, your ass is married. You's married, motherfucker. You's married. Because nobody stays with somebody that motherfucking long and not at least love them. It was some type of love in there to make your ass stay that long. So get off the gas. Both parties really have to come together, especially right now, seeing as that you have no outs, either one of you. So you actually do have to be an adult and not play any high school games. Like, well, you know what he won't know, what he don't know won't hurt him. Oh, yes, it will. Yes, it will. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because now that you can't go to your other who you've been fucking around with, they finna start blowing up your damn phone. So either you gonna come on with it and be honest about what it is you're doing, what you got going on, and what it is you really want. State that shit. Have a round table. Be an adult. Let's get this shit out in the open so everybody's on the same page. Nobody wants to play the fool. And so all them people that's really been out there just having a grand old time, this moment is what my grandmother would consider chickens coming home to roost. Everything you've been doing, the light is on right now. And there's going to be a lot of people that's going to either get caught in the light, or they are going to put the light on themselves and stand up and talk about it, get it out, get an understanding, and dead that shit. Either decide when this is over, it's just going to be me and you, or we're going to decide to just be roommates, and there's an open understanding that we're going to do what we want to do, and something's going to have to, some kind of resolve. That's a part of the resilience. Because if you're straight up off the top, then there's an understanding there's no need for secrets, and your conscience is not sitting there busting your ass upside the head 24/7. You don't want to answer the phone because you think it might be your other bitch or your other nigga or whatever the case may be. You're paranoid. And do you risk going out there to go see this other person to get a shot of head and some cockiness and think it's all good when the coronavirus is out there lurking? Because then you might bring that shit back home to the chick you actually love or the dude you actually do love. Your kids, you done infected the whole house and shit. No. It's time to dead that. It's time to grow up. We get in relationships. To maintain a healthy relationship, you gotta have some faith. You gotta have some communication. Everything has to be mutual. Have a mutual understanding. You both can agree on it. It does take compromise. And for all them people out there, because male and female who holler they don't want to submit, because males and females in relationship, at some point in that relationship, you are submitting to something. It's give and take. And for all the females that's been out there with that bullshit, that I'm not submitting to shit. Yeah, you submit yourself to something every day. Just think about that. You submitting yourself to something every day. And what the hell are you getting out of it? Nothing but a headache. If you can submit yourself to be a side chick, why you can't submit yourself to be a wife? I mean, this is not just for the ladies, this is for the males too. At some point, you got to put your pride aside. That pride is not going to feed you. It's not going to clothe you. It's not going to let you know when you're sick that everything is going to be all right. If you got to go under for surgery, that pride ain't going to be standing there when you wake up going, hey, I'm still here. See, I told you everything was going to be okay. That pride. I'm not bullshitting at all. Y'all know what I mean. You be at the grocery store, somebody you don't even know trying to hold you a conversation. Oh, or better yet, somebody you don't even like trying to hold you a conversation in the store. Your mouth is going, yeah, okay. But your facial expression is going, oh, bitch, hurry up, say what the fuck you gonna say, get the hell out of my face. I don't know why you standing here talking to me. You know you don't like me, and you know I don't like you. With your hand on your hip, or if you're a guy, you post it up. Shaking your head. No. And your mouth saying yes. Yeah, dead giveaway. But it is what it is. So we got to maintain control. We got to be civil. And we have to kind of remain humble in all of this. And that's, I think, for a lot of people, that's the hardest part. And this is whether it's relationships or work relationships or friendships. Calling to check on each other when you don't even want anything. You just want to know how that person is doing. You want to brighten their day, lift their spirits, but you don't necessarily want anything from them. You're just actually calling to check, or texting to check, or emailing to check. Being that ear for someone is an amazing thing to do. See, sometimes people don't necessarily need you to say anything. They just want you to actually listen. And that works in every relationship across the board. Work, friend, associate, all of that. That's just how that works. So in the middle of all the bullshit and chaos that's going on, we have to be able to get along. We have to work on maintaining our relationships, especially before you try and start any new relationships. I mean, that, I guess it falls over in the category of building a good relationship, maintaining the relationship, and making sure it's not an unhealthy relationship. Because unhealthy just breeds unhealthy. And we can't have that. I mean, so basically, what it boils down to, fuck the dumb shit, be adults, behave. Even though we're adults, that don't mean we have to do everything we necessarily want to do. Because you have to maintain self-control in this. So basically, you have to, for other people, you have to love them for who they are. Don't try to change them. Accept that there are only a few things that you may be able to take part in changing, because that's something that's going to naturally occur. You have to be a good listener. Don't just nod your head and say, uh-huh. But actually be actively listening, because you'll learn a lot about a person just from listening to them. And be nice. Because, I mean, in anger, you ain't hearing shit somebody say. You just not. Because you got all this angry bullshit flowing between your two ears. And it's blocking everything that they're probably trying to tell you. And it's a lot of times we don't hear shit that we don't want to hear. A lot of people do that. Denial will make you do that. That's definitely one of the things that make you do that. And we can't do that either. So it's just best to face everything head on. Make sure everybody's on the same page. Because, to be honest about it, successful relationships take some time and true work. They don't, I mean, it's not a vacuum process. It's just, and we're done. No. It only occurs when couples, partners, whatever, actually take the necessary time. And see, that's something else that this coronavirus is doing. It's taking away a lot of distractions. And it's forcing people to refocus their attention on those things which actually indeed matter the most. And just keeping in mind, you can only change yourself, not your partner. If you love someone, actually love them. And allow yourselves to be loved. If there's miscommunication, hey, immediately try to fix that. And a lot of arguments pretty much come from our own fear or pain, especially when you get upset. But do this one thing. Check out what's going on first. Make sure you got an understanding of what's going on before you react. That's going to help as well. Actually think some shit through. And definitely understand that men and women are different. We ain't from Walls of Venus. Fuck all that. But we are different. That's why we work well together. Because we are different. And once everybody knows and understands that, because that equality shit too, let's go ahead and throw that in there. Right? So everybody wants to be fucking equal in everything. Be equal in being honest and truthful about what it is you feel, what it is you actually are thinking, what you're curious about. Fuck keeping it 100. Try keeping that shit 1,000. Like, for real. Because, to be honest about it, truth keeps your relationship healthy. See, it's like you're not going to go to a well-known liar to want to tell them something very intimate and personal that you've never told anyone else. Are you? Hell no. Because we know that motherfucker going to tell the world. So, if that motherfucker is the partner, that's a problem. If you feel like you can't trust them, you don't believe shit that's coming out of their mouth, okay, it's because they're not very reliable when it comes to truth. And you may actually end up being that one that's nothing you say is believed. Because you hadn't been keeping it 1,000. Which means you have work to do. I mean, unless they done just outright said, you know what, fuck you and your bullshit, I'm done. And when this shit is over, when we come up off of lockdown, we done. I'm gone. All you can do is respect that. If they done said it, all you can do is respect that, because at least they were keeping it 1,000 with you. Something a lot of us have a hard time doing. It's going to be so many people that's going to take shit to the grave that they didn't have to take to the grave with them. Some weight they could have taken off of themselves or the other person in that relationship. So if you're keeping it 1,000 and you have no secrets, You ain't got to worry about your phone when it rings. Your boss can trust you. Because, I mean, we did say this relationship shit ain't just for married folks or shacking folks or whatever you want to call it. Common law marriage. Friendships. This includes work, too. Because if you're the boss and you that motherfucker that don't keep shit 1,000, you let shit just float, and then everybody else get hit with a tidal wave because they didn't know what the fuck was going on. Yeah, you're falling into that category too. But it's not too late for you either to change. That's what this is about. Encourage and inspire positive change and a healthier lifestyle. See, because if everybody's being truthful, that will be less stress, less anxiety, less depression, less suicides. Because secrets can bloom into suicide. Know that. And during an epidemic, suicides are going to go up because of all those factors. And the fact that they can't find a silver lining to save their own lives. We don't need any of that. Everyone deserves to live. Everyone deserves to be happy. So this is every relationship. Every relationship. And if you need to talk to somebody, talk to a therapist, it's companies that are doing telephone sessions. There's always a silver lining. You can always get help. There are couple therapists. There are, because in a situation like this also, let's think about family relations and relationships. Siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, all that. In a time like this, all the people that you, for whatever reason, stopped talking to some years ago, or don't fuck with because they did something, or you're the one who did something and ain't nobody wanting to fuck with you, this is the time that you're hit the hardest. Because now you need somebody. It's not too late for you either. You can always attempt to right your wrongs. Now, it's not guaranteed that it's going to be completely right. But you're not only doing this for yourself, but other people as well. Own up, say, hey, look, I'm sorry, I fucked up. I need my family right now. Just talk to me. And that'll help rebuild some relationships. Especially within this pandemic. Because everybody needs somebody. And the more people that you have that you can talk to, you can vent to, the less likely you are to want to hurt yourself or anyone else. Let's just be honest. You're not going to get desperate and just run out the house and be like, oh, hell no, fuck this. I'm finna get out this house. You'll be able to maintain during your period of isolation. Just use this time in a positive manner. Rebuild, refocus. Learn to meditate. Read, write. Rediscover who you are as a person, as well as in a relationship. Because it starts first within yourself. Always. Always. Be friendly not only to other people, but to yourself. And I'm not saying friendly as, oh, here come this friendly motherfucker. Not that type of friendly. Because I'm not that type of friendly motherfucker. But it is what it is. At least I'm honest about it. I put my fucking cards on the table too. Raw, uncut truth. I can't expect it out of you guys and not. You see what I'm saying? That works for everybody. So yeah, I mean, mistakes have been made, but there's always room. And during this pandemic, take this time to do that. To refocus, to get recentered, to get regrounded. Go back to the basics. See, right now, with everybody buying up all the damn toilet paper and everything else and all that shit like that, even though they should be buying more soap to wash their asses, although they're not, okay? But this is the time to go back to the basics. Recycling, something that we should have been doing all along. But if you have not been doing, start. Reusing some things helps some things. Go back to the basics. See, going out to eat, going to movies, and everything like that, that is a fucking luxury. Let me say that one more time. That's a fucking luxury. That's not just a given. That's not a necessity. Trips, vacations, all of that. That is luxury. That's not a basic need. So when I say we gotta go back to the basics, I'm talking about for real shit basics. That's how communities survive. That's how families survive. They survived off what it was they had. It's a return to creativity. It is endurance. It's the resilience. It's that resilience that kept generations going. Growing your own food. Getting away for out of the city sometimes. All the extra other things to do to spend money. What about the basics? Taking a walk at the park, having a picnic outside. Shit like that. I mean, it's a better way to get to know each other. Really know each other. Instead of all these expensive ass dates for what? See, but since we're on lockdown, all of that shit can't happen like that. So that means people are going to have to adjust. And if you're in isolation with your significant other, you have to adjust as well. Come up with a schedule. Plan family time, wife and husband time, work time, going back to the basics. And everybody's afraid of the word rationing. Why? Rationing. Moderation. Same difference. If you eat on a moderate level and don't go overboard, you can plan out your meals for an entire month and save money while doing it. If we actually cut out some of the extra things like luxury, you can save some money. You can save some money to start a business, start a family, so many things. There's so many things that can be done. It's the basics that keeps us going. So in all of this, first of all, we got to stop and take a breath. Okay, you can take a breath so you're still standing, you're still walking, you're still talking, whatever the case may be. As long as you are breathing, you are thinking. As long as you are thinking, you are surviving. So, like I said, coronavirus, all it did was make everybody stop and sit the fuck down somewhere and actually be still for a while. Which, in life, you have to do that on your own. It should not take an epidemic. So, but for most, it did. So here we are. But you're going to survive through this. You're going to survive through this. You're going to get through this. And hopefully when you come out on the other side, you will have learned a lot. Because like I said, we never stop learning. There's always something new you can learn about yourself. New to surviving. A lot of things you can make and sell. You can make and use. You can recycle. Catch up on some reading. There's always something you could do. Especially to keep the anxiety down and fear at bay. Because I don't want anybody running around here in fear. Because that's going to affect your body's health. From head to toe. Mental to physical. Emotion, everything is already wrapped up in the package. So to get through this, watch some movies. Do something entertaining. Do something fun within the home. Play some board games. If you have children, make activity times for them. Drawing, coloring. Especially those, oh, yes, baby. Let's talk about real uncut truth. Now, all the parents out there, we love our kids to death and we don't want to be the one to call them bad as fuck. But there are some kids that's out there that's bad as fuck. Now, Some of y'all parents are stuck at home with these badass motherfucking kids. This is your time to change that ass and mind. Use it. Give them work to do. Give them schoolwork to do. Keep them occupied. As long as kids have something to do, they stay out of trouble. They don't have time to think of some fucked up shit to get into because their mind is already being used to do something positive. And for those parents who are in denial and be like, no, my kids ain't bad. Motherfucker, your kids is bad. Own that shit and correct the problem. And then you won't have to ever deal with that again. Which means society won't have to deal with any fucked up shit they decide that they want to do later because it did not get corrected. Right? So, since they can't go to school, they ain't got shit else to do, they can't be with their friends and go do some dumb shit, give them something to do. Talk to them. Find out what they're going through. Find out how they see things. How they feel about shit. Talk to them. Because at a certain point in parenting, there are going to be some things that you're going to miss. Nobody's fault. That's just life. That's just life. Some shit you just not going to know that your kids done got into it and done. Because whatever the case is, they don't want you to know. Do your parents know everything you done? My parents don't know everything I done. Hell no. It's a certain level of respect to this shit. So if you didn't tell your parents everything, know that it's some shit that your kid's not telling you. Which leads me to the fact that you have to understand that we all do, have to understand as parents. We can't never say what it is truly. What we think our child will or will not do. And we can't do nothing but accept it. It's a part of that accepting the things that you really can't do shit about, that life is going to have to teach them. But it's still the same as putting in effort to make sure you do your best as a parent. So get to know your kids, rebond with them. Take this time as not something ugly and evil and nerve-wracking, and although you want to feel like that, no, don't do it. Don't panic. I'm telling everybody right now, do not panic. Do not panic. We weren't the first people here. We don't know exactly everything that every other generation has been through. We only know a little bit. So we don't know what all the hell done hit the earth before we were born. We're not meant to know every single thing. And there's a certain acceptance in that as well. So, to a certain extent, calm your mind, calm your fears, get some of the stress up off you, and let's focus and deal with what we really have going on just besides this virus. We're going to take a quick break, and I'll be back with you shortly. You are listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station. You can contact On One Radio by phone 318-315-3971. The call may be monitored and recorded for the quality assurance purposes. Your continued participation in this telephone call serves as express consent to be monitored or recorded. You can find On One Radio on Facebook, as well as On One's Day One's private Facebook group. Check it out. It's all the behind the scenes and just basically everything On One Radio. We're also found on WordPress, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Tumblr, Collide, and we're on Skype. The name is Live Tony On One to chat. To email, you can email us at oneradiotalk@gmail.com. If you know an artistic mind who deserves a little bit of love and talent recognition, email us and place it to the attention of Artist Highlights, as well as if you have some BS for the BS of the Day segment, email to the attention of BS of the Day. That is on oneradiotalk@gmail.com. We're also found on YouTube. The channel name there is Tony on One. On One Radio is the talk show podcast station providing you with the realest entertainment, information, music, lifestyle, and truth and comedy shows around. On One Radio can be found also on Spreaker.com/user/Tony on dash and the number one. So like, share, follow, subscribe for more raw, uncut truth that is on One Radio. And thank you for your support. Much love and respect goes out to you all. And we are back. All right. So, thank you guys for tuning in and all your love and support. Now, we're talking about everything that goes on that we have to deal with, especially right now on being on lockdown. Isolation, quarantine during this epidemic, which is, I think everyone at this point can agree, that is a national disaster as well as national health disaster. But outside of the families and jobs and things like that, that people are fearing, and it's kind of giving anxiety to a lot of people. And a lot of people are getting depressed, and those are all the things that we do not want happening. So, let's talk right now about this when it comes to work. There are a lot of people who are really on the fritz right now. Some people are suspended, some people are laid off temporarily, but the bills keep coming in. Well, like I said before, there's always a silver lining, because let's be real for a second. If there's no toilet paper to buy, what good does having money do? And that's just some real shit right there. So calm your fears on that part. Just kind of roll that back and just take a deep breath on it. Because what good does having money if there are no products for you to buy? And it rolls back to people's health. It's a health issue. But there are places, there are different, I've been doing some research on this. People can apply for grants. So if that's your sole concern during all of this, take this time, do some research on grants. People can get grants. Women can get grants. There are grants for men. There's grants for children. There are grants all over the place. You just have to actually research and look them up. You can even go to grants.gov and check out what grants they have going on. They have loans and this sort of other things. It's a lot going on. But just do your research on that part. You can take this time to do some online schooling, just things to help better yourself. You can even work from home. There are a lot of companies now that are definitely going to be hiring for remote jobs that's working from home. Or they'll just flat out say working from home. So just take your time and, get on the internet, peruse, and see. Because there's different, if you go to some of the temporary agency sites, they'll show some. You can go look for jobs at pretty much any one of those job sites. Any job sites. Just type it in and it'll show you. Like jobs what is this? Jobs2Mike.com. That's working at home. AriseWorkFromHome.com. I mean, there are some different things. Just check them out and see. And make sure you really take a look at it. Make sure they're legit first before submitting any personal information, because with all this going on, we do still have to look out for the crooks. They're going to find a loophole in every fucking thing. So just, be precautious. Be cautious and take precautions and really do research. I mean, they've got myjobhelper.com as of right now, call center representative, work at home. I'm just going through and providing or showing or leading to a silver lining in that, especially in respect to what's going on. All right, so there's a lot that can be done. Like I say, take this time to regroup, to get yourself together, to get back to the basics, relearn yourself and your partners, family and some friends, rebond, and rebuild relationships. Because that's what we're dealing with, because especially since there's an uncertainty about how long isolation and lockdown and so forth is going to be. You got to be able to get along with the people that are the closest to you, and even the ones that once were. Job, friends, so forth. Be courteous, check on each other, make sure everybody's, doing all right. Not necessarily calling to check anybody, just, calling to say you're checking on them, but you want something. Let's not do that. But just actually call and give each other support. Yeah, give each other support, because that's pretty much what everyone needs at this moment. And like I stated before, be straight up, put all your cards on the table, and your relationships will be much better. Much better. Because as of right now, players can't play. That's male or female. Helicopter or motorcycle, it doesn't matter. The playing field is shut the fuck down. So now we have to deal with the real issues that's going on outside of not being able to work, or the kids go to school, or any of those things. You got to deal with person-to-person interaction right now. Something we had as technology grew and everything, everybody got more distant. They had a lot of online living going on and experiences and dating and this, that, and the other. But a lot of people push so far away from physical interaction as far as on friendship basis and speaking terms and time spent, that they forgot how to do so. And so for some people during this time, this is going to be a learning experience. You're going to have to relearn to have face-to-face conversations with those closest to you. So rebuild, rework, do something to better yourself and those around you. Because keep in mind, everything we do is like a ripple effect. When you're out at a pond or a lake and you skip a rock across the water, wherever that rock touches in that water, there's going to be an effect. It's a ripple effect. And it spreads out wide until there's no more ripples. Well, that's pretty much what we go through in life when dealing with others, because not only others, but ourselves. Because what we do matter. Everything we do is a rock, like a rock touching that water. It's sending out a ripple effect. So what we do affects so many other people. So let's make better choices. Let's love each other. Let's be honest with each other. And be patient. Not only with each other, but yourselves. Don't be so hard on yourselves. But just put in an effort to change for the better. And that's all of us. We can do this. We can survive. We can get along. We can rebuild. And we can honor those who have already passed. Show them that we can stand, we can survive, and we can do what's right. And in that respect, we'll get through this epidemic, and we'll conquer this quarantine or self-isolation. And we'll be better people for it. So be good, y'all. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my talk show. I wish you the best and don't allow anyone to fuck up your vibes. I have been your host, Tony Williams.